This is the Horse Radio Network.
This is episode 331 of the Stable Scoop Radio Show, The Elf and the Italian Eskimo. Please support our sponsors as they make this show possible.
Our sponsors this week are Dr. Rose's Remedies, EasySignsOnline.com, and you, our auditors.
Welcome to the Stable Scoop, with weekly shows delivered right to you. With Helena and Glenn the Geek, live from the stable, it's every week. They bring you the news through hail or high water, while using their tails as their own fly swatters. So sit on down and laugh till you poop, cause it's time again for Stable Scoop. Stable Scoop. Stable Scoop. Stable Scoop.
This is Glenn the Geek.
And this is Helena B., and you're listening to the Stable Scoop Radio Show on the Horse Radio Network.
Hey, my little Italian Eskimo, how are you?
I'm good. I'm sure there's all kinds of political incorrectness in that, but yes. I kind of like it.
Well, you've been posting pictures here the last couple of days, and to this morning you posted a picture of you all bundled up, ready to head out into the Arctic winter. And you just look like a little Italian Eskimo. That's what I thought of. So
that is my very first selfie ever.
Really?
The very first one, and it's kind of large.
Where have you been anyway?
I was like, holy cow, my face is big. But the reason I decided to put it up was because if you look carefully, you'll see teeny bits of hay in my scarf.
Yeah, I do see that, actually, yes.
And that's pretty much my life. Like, there's that much hay in every piece of clothing that I own.
Well, you've had quite a conversation going on our Stable Scoop page over the last couple of days about the cold with all the listeners. So you had quite a good conversation going on.
It's been, I've had my horses at home for 4 years now. And I pretty much figured out, and Brody's been with me for 2, and Dog has been here for about 6 months. And I pretty much figured out what they like to do, because they can come and go as they please. So I watch their behavior patterns when it's windy or buggy, they go in their stalls or whatever. But every once in a while, you're like, am I doing the right thing? This is what I think I like to do. This is what I think is good for them, but let me just check in with the gang. And I just love to hear all the different comments. And there were a few people. So for those of you who've not been following this long on Facebook, I asked whether or not to leave my horses in or let them roam in sub-zero temperatures last night. And most everybody said let them move about, freely. But there were a few who lock those buggers up and turn up the heat.
Yeah, that's the thing. We just. I think it's the same kind of argument as, do you leave them in or out in storms? Right. We've had that argument many times over the years here on the show, and in court I could argue both. So, I think in the winter, I'm with everybody else. Leave them out so they can move around, and they tend to find the spot that's not windy or hiding from the wind. They tend to find that on their own anyway.
They do, and especially if they've been in a certain place for, a number of years, they know the weather patterns. When it's really windy and when the wind is coming out of the west very hard, they both go on the east side of the barn, and when we have a nor'easter, they hang out on the south side of the barn. So they know where to hang out, but I'm just a freak sometimes.
Well, if it makes any of you Northerners feel better, we were in the 20s this morning too, and it is now 39, and so in the afternoon. So we're not exactly roasting down here in Florida at the moment. So if it makes you feel any better.
Cry me a river, buddy. We're not exactly roasting here in Florida.
Yeah, I mean, for us,
it's the here in Florida part that just doesn't work.
I had to look for gloves. I had to find gloves today to put on.
Are you kidding me?
No,
what's the high temperature in Florida today, Glenn?
No, it really is going to be
really. What's the high
40s,
temperature?
low 40s actually today. Yeah,
That's
it is chilly today. It is chilly today, but it is windy. So it's just like you guys up there. It's the wind chills that are really knocking everybody out, from what I'm hearing.
It is. I mean, we're right on the ocean, so the wind.
You got a cold, wet wind.
Well, the thing is because we're on the ocean, we're usually 10 degrees warmer than the surrounding communities, even in the wintertime. We're 10 degrees cooler in the summer, 10 degrees warmer in the winter. That's lovely, except when the wind blows.
Yeah.
And because we're on the ocean, that wind blows something mean.
And brings that moisture off the ocean, which is worse. It's that cold, wet moisture.
Which is worse. Yeah. I have a few. Brody's manure is nice and healthy and round. But Dog's had a lot of moisture in his. So we have a couple of permanent manure fixtures in the barnyard because it just like froze to the ground.
Not even with a flexing fork are you getting that up, huh?
No, and I tried. I tried. I was like, I know my flexing fork is really strong, but I'm not going to risk breaking it. Yeah.
Well, did you have a good holiday?
I did have a good holiday. Yeah, it was really nice. I made a lot of Italian food and ate
cool.
like an Italian Eskimo.
There you go. Well, that's what you're supposed to do. You're just storing up for the winter. That's all.
Honestly, I can't wait for the spring because I need something to make me stop eating.
Well, we had a good time too. It was nice to have 2 weeks off. That's the first 2 weeks in a row we've had off for 6 years since we started the network.
Number of years. And you went traveling. I saw you had some.
Yeah, we went up to friends of ours in South Carolina, and we went down to see Wendy for a while. To see her new farm, and Jennifer got to go riding down there, and I got to play tennis with Dr. Kyle. First time I played tennis in 2 years.
Wow, how was that?
Good. Dr. Kyle is actually was on the semi-pro tour for a while, so he's much better than me.
They're like Mr. and Mrs. Perfect.
They are. It's so funny, and they're so happy taking pictures all the time.
I know, they're awesome. I wish I could have gone with you. Oh
yeah,
well.
No, it's fun. We got to see them, so it was a good time. It was spent some time at home, and I didn't actually record one interview. Didn't look at the websites. It was nice. It was nice to get away. It was nice to get away for a couple of weeks. It really, really was.
That's a big deal for you.
You need that mental downtime.
Yeah, and you work really hard, so it's hard to take it for yourself, the downtime.
Yes, because you have to do like 1,800 hours of work the week before to get ready and have all the shows ready.
And then clean up all the mess afterwards as well.
With us, fortunately, that's not the case because we get all the shows ready ahead of time. And, when we get back, it's normal, which unlike most people's jobs where then it's all piled up, we don't have that. So that's kind of nice. That is kind of nice to what we got there. But we have a fun show planned for today. We have Ellie O'Brien coming on from Ellie O'Brien Horsemanship with the lovely Australian accent, and she's going to give us our training tip of the month. We'll start right off with her, and then we have a listener profile. We still have a ton of listeners we'd like to get to know, and we have one of our very few male auditors that we're talking to. He's from Canada. His name's Ken Hebert, and we're going to talk to him, so I'm excited about that. I don't get to talk to guy listeners too often. And then we have Erin Gilmore as a regular on the show from Horse and Style magazine coming back. She's in Wellington, going to give us the Wellington, Florida report of the season has kicked off down there. So she's going to fill us in on everything jumping and dressage and all that stuff. So that's terrific. We're looking forward to that. And then you have a very appropriate Tack and Habit product for today, I see.
Yeah, and it's a very interesting Tack and Habit product because it's from a manufacturer who I have blasted in the past.
Oh, okay. So we'll find out if you're going to blast them again coming up on the show. I see who it is now. Yes, I've blasted them in the past too. Well, I'm excited to hear your review now because I don't know. I haven't talked to you about this, so we'll find out. Well, let's start with a commercial from Dr. Rose's Remedies, and then we're going to go to Ellie O'Brien from Ellie O'Brien Horsemanship with her training tip of the month. Dr. Rose's Remedies Skin Treatment Salve and Spray are 100% all-natural products. They are anti-inflammatory, antibacterial, antiviral, and antifungal. Dr. Rose's are made with all human-grade ingredients and are safe and effective for treatment for all manner of cuts and scrapes on your horse. And Dr. Rose's is the must-have product here at the Horse Radio Network headquarters to keep PT Scooter's delicate white pasterns free from dew poisoning and scratches. Ask for Dr. Rose's at your local tack store or feed supplier, or visit them online at drrosesremedies.com. That's drrosesremedies.com. Well, hi, Ellie. Welcome back to the show.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me back again.
Well, before we get talking about training tips and horses and stuff, we have to talk to you because I follow you on Facebook, and you had an absolutely magical holiday season. You didn't go back to New Zealand. Instead, you went to New York City with your lovely 6-year-old daughter, and it looks like you two just did everything that you see in the movies that you're supposed to do in the holidays in New York City.
We did. It was so magical. And my little girl, she's always had this fascination with the Statue of Liberty. And a couple of weeks leading up to Christmas, she was going on and on and on about it. And she'd already told all of her friends that she was going to go to New York for Christmas. So a couple of days before Christmas, I said to her, well, let's go then. So we went, and it was just so beautiful, and we've never experienced anything like that before. So she loved seeing all the lights and the light show on the Macy's building, and so it was a lot of fun.
Oh, Macy's is always a good time, especially for little girls. All that glitter and glitz and the music that they pump out into the streets.
Yeah, I think I enjoyed it just as much as she did. I was like a little girl.
Of course, I mean, I grew up just outside of the city, and I still get all silly and goofy and excited at Christmas time.
I think it would be hard not to in that city.
And the window displays are just amazing. Like, you could spend a whole day in the city just gawking at the window displays.
Yeah, and I think dangerous for Mum's pockets as well. Your wallet.
I saw pictures of lots of bags. You hit all the toy stores up, didn't you?
We did. I'm a sucker. But it was well worth it, so I'm so glad that we did it.
What was your favorite thing to do while you were there?
My favorite thing? I think I really just enjoyed, I think it comes from like the horses and everything, but I'm such like a watcher. I love to just watch people and body language and all of that sort of stuff. And I mean, you see so many different people there and different cultures, and that was a lot of fun for me.
Helena, what's your favorite thing about going back now when you get to go back at Christmas time?
Probably my favorite thing is the window displays, is the visuals, is what the city turns into. It almost makes you think. It reminds you of what the city was like back in the 1800s. Like, you just kind of get this sense because everything slows down. It's as slow as New York can get.
You're right.
But I don't know. I just get this old world sense that there's something bigger and more important that's going on in people's lives. And it strips away I know this is getting a little deep, but it strips away the microcosm of this alternate reality that we live in, which is, our computers and our TV shows and our movies and our books. And it restores some sense of purpose. And when you feel that in New York City, you really feel it. And so for me, anyway, it just it makes me think of what the city was like before we had all of the trappings of our generation.
So I have to ask you, Ellie, when she went and saw the Statue of Liberty, was she as excited when she got there?
Yeah, she was. She loved seeing it, and it's funny because it was the Statue of Liberty and the Eiffel Tower. So now she tells me our next trip has to be to Paris. Like, right, Mum, we've picked that one off. Now we're off to Paris.
That's adorable.
That's funny. She's going to be a handful when she gets to be 13.
Oh, yeah.
Or 8.
Or 8, yeah, exactly.
But it's good fun, and it definitely, I just love it that I think they bring back our sense of adventure again and, exploring things, so it's good fun.
Good. Terrific. Well, I'm glad you had a good time. It was fun watching you guys and your pictures and all the different things that went on while you were there. So that was cool.
Thank you.
Well, what are we talking about horse-wise today?
Today, I wanted to talk about the what finished product. So kind of looking at, working through and not being afraid of going through the ugly stuff to get to the pretty finished product. This one thing that I really see going on a lot, and a big mistake we make, and that is riding and training like we're already on a finished product. But in reality, I mean, it's not very often that we are riding a finished product. So, and what happens there is we kind of end up going around and around in circles, and then we're forever having to fill in holes because we didn't go through that ugly phase to get to that pretty picture at the end. And one thing I try and teach my riders, I get a lot of riders that come to me and they've been taught to ride the finished product, but they're on a horse that isn't the finished product. So we sort of have to go back to, like, it's okay to put your hands out really wide, or maybe you might have to put them up really high, or, you know, and not be looking pretty all the time to be able to get the job done. And then in the end, I mean, that might take weeks or months or even years to get to that pretty picture, but by the end of it, then you're show ready, I guess you could say. And I think that training, it isn't pretty. In fact, it can look quite ugly and messy and wobbly and all those bad things that we try to avoid, but we just have to go through them to get to the good part. So I thought a good example to talk about would be straightness. And I think one of the worst ways that I see straightness being worked on is by people trying to force it, trying to hold their horse in together so that they don't fall apart. And I think it can look pretty to maybe an untrained eye, but it's not true and proper. And when I'm riding a horse and training a horse, I always think to myself, if a master horse trainer, maybe like Buck Brannaman or Ray Hunt or, you know, any of those type of people, if they were to ever get on my horse, I would want to feel proud in what I was working on, no matter if it was just a baby or a more advanced horse. I would want them to be able to feel that I am working on those correct foundations. So, yeah, instead of holding them in and everything, what I would actually do is the complete opposite. So, basically just letting them fail and letting them make mistakes and then correcting them. So I like to call it failing forward, because we make those mistakes. And it's just like anything, whether it's horse training, whether it's children training, or when we're learning to do a new job or something. You know, we make those mistakes, we correct it, and then we move forward and leave them alone. So if we keep on just working on those things, say maybe with the straightness, if we let go of all of that micromanaging and wanting to hold them in there, and say we're just riding along on a loose rein and the horse goes to duck off to maybe the right, all I would simply do is pick up on my left rein, hold it until the horse bends back to the left side, and then release again. And so what starts happening there is the horse starts to get prepared to go off on the other direction. So if we keep on doing that every single time the horse goes to, say, duck out to one side or the other, just pick up on the opposite rein, then they start to become more balanced and straight, because they're always waiting for you to ask them to go either way instead of holding them in there. And I mean, you might have ridden a horse like that before, that if you don't have your reins tight and your legs on, then they're kind of all over the show. I remember last year we had a horse come to us, and the people, he'd only had maybe about 60 days on him or so, and the people were all upset because he had started bucking when they were asking him to do flying changes. And so we just stripped it right back to those basics, and taking away a lot of that leg pressure and rein and holding him in and just riding on a loose rein. And this horse, I mean, he couldn't even hold himself up. He was all over the show. And so if you don't have that, then there's no way that you can expect to have that pretty picture and more advanced movements. So I guess that's kind of my training tip for today, is just not being afraid of going through the ugly and the messy and everything, and letting go of those expectations. And I think sometimes what worries people a lot of the time, and I've had some of my students say to me, like, oh, gee, like people look at me like I'm some crazy woman riding around all messy and all over the show. But it's just a lack of understanding, a lack of knowledge. And I just say to them, just keep doing it, and one day you will have that pretty product at the end.
I like to just keep doing it. I tend to be one of those people because that's one of our biggest training challenges is straightness, even at the walk.
Yeah.
And he just sticks his big old belly out in one direction or the other. So you do have this tendency, I have this tendency to want to hold it, get the straightness and maintain it instead of ask for it, let him, resist, give him a few seconds, ask for it again. So there's this sort of ingrained habit, of I need straightness. I got to hold it, and I can't hold it anymore. And then, everything falls apart. And it is very frustrating. So it's helpful to think of even one small request like that to be not just one entire request, but a series of small ones that may succeed and may fail, even within 10 to 15 strides of walking or something. Again, totally counter to what I sometimes feel as a rider. I need to ask for this and get it, and if I get it, I have to hold it.
Yeah, and I think that's a very typical training issue in all spectrums. We get it, and even life, I guess. We get something and we want to hold on to it and not let go of it. But I think in reality it's getting it, and then the reward is in letting go of it. And then soon they start to realize that soft place, that really good spot is when we let go of it, and that's when they start holding it.
I had a few girlfriends that I should have let go a lot sooner.
Yeah, we could link it through to relationships.
Yeah. Or jobs. I've had a few jobs I shouldn't have stayed at that long either. So, very good, Ellie.
Where horse training
yes.
works in all of life.
Somebody should write that book where there's the horse training tip and then the life tip that goes along with it, side by side. That would be good. And it could apply to relationships or your job, they all go together, right?
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah. Ellie, where can people find you?
At Finesse Equestrian Training, Ellie O'Brien Finesse Equestrian Training.
If you just search up Ellie O'Brien on Facebook, you'll find her, and we'll also put links in our show notes as well. Thank you so much, Ellie. We're glad you had a great time on your first Christmas in the United States.
Thank you so much. Good talking to you guys.
You too. Happy New Year.
You too.
Cut right there. Thank you, Ellie.
Oh, no worries.
Appreciate that. And we hope you stay warm in the Carolinas there and don't freeze to death.
Thank you. Yeah, I guess it's a little bit warmer down there, huh?
Yeah, a little bit, but it's still pretty chilly today. Helena's up in New England, though. She's freezing her butt off.
Oh,
yeah.
My
butt's warm. It's everything else that's cold.
Oh, gee.
Well, thanks, Ellie. We have to run to our next interview, but we appreciate it. We'll keep in touch, okay?
No worries. Have a good day.
This week's EasySignsOnline.com spotlight product is their New England Style Farm Signs, their most popular line of signs. New England Style Farm Signs are very durable and designed for long-term outdoor use with no maintenance required, no wood to rot, and no paint to peel. They will outlast the old style painted wood signs by many, many years. They are available in many sizes, shapes, and styles, which makes them the perfect sign for any farm or business. Go online today and go through the EasySignsOnline.com easy step-by-step ordering process to see all the prices and options available. They also offer free, no-obligation sign proofs on all New England-style signs, and you get free shipping as well on all New England-style signs. So replace your old worn-out sign and make a great first impression with a new farm sign from EasySignsOnline.com. And the holidays are right around the corner, so it's a terrific gift idea. I can't think of a better one. Visit EasySignsOnline.com. Well, we have a listener profile coming up next, and we have a guy with a good name, by the way. His name is Ken Hubert. Is that how you pronounce it, Ken?
Yep, Hubert.
Okay. Because I'm Hebert, so, we're a bear. Is there a Canadian pronunciation of Hubert?
Not really. It's originally German, but...
Okay, so you're German. You're one of the very few non-French Canadians up there? Well, Ken, you're one of our very few male auditors that we have, and one of our very few male listeners. What am I talking about? Our listener base is about 99% women, and then there's you and me. And
and Philip.
And Philip, Philip, that's right. Philip, and we know we have Robert out there in Arizona that listens, but pretty much that's all of us. So I had to have you on to find out, when did you start listening to the shows?
I've been listening to the show probably about 4 or 5 years. When I've been recently getting back into riding.
Oh, great. Well, that's terrific. Do you remember how you found the Horse Radio Network?
Just online, I believe.
Yeah. Just stumbled across it?
Yeah, definitely.
You can Google just about anything, Glenn, and guess what? We come up.
Yeah, that is true now. I noticed that. We're on the first page. Any guest we've ever had, if you Google us now, we're on the first page.
Yay.
Hey, Ken, how do you listen to the show? Do you use the app? Do you use your computer? What do you do?
Kind of all. Usually use the app on my phone. I listen to it quite often when I'm traveling in the car. Or if I'm sitting at my home computer, I'll have it on the home computer too.
And do you like the app? Does it work okay for you?
Oh, yeah, it's great. Yeah, no problems.
Okay. We tried to keep it just simple,
Yeah, it's a fantastic app.
Now,
simple. You designed it with me in mind, didn't you?
Yeah, exactly.
What kind of horses do you have, Ken, or what kind of riding do you do?
Well, I do mostly English riding. I do have one horse right now, a 6-year-old Clyde Thoroughbred Cross.
Oh, cool.
Ooh, yeah. What
one I see on your Facebook page?
No, it's a gelding. I've had mares before, but I'm mare-free.
Is that the one I see in your Facebook page with the big white blaze? Yeah?
Yeah. Definitely Helena would like him. He's definitely a classical hunting horse.
Ooh.
He's definitely got the look. He's nice, big, solid 16-3.
He's a beautiful horse. He's a beautiful horse, actually. I love that blaze.
Glenn, how are you on everybody's Facebook page?
I don't know. They all like me, I guess. See, people like me, Helena. See, that's the difference.
You think they like you. They just want something from you. I don't know what it is yet, but I'll find out.
Ken asked me if we had any questions for him. I said, are you kidding? We don't plan that far ahead. Ken, you've listened to the shows long enough. You know we don't plan. It's just whatever comes out.
But, you guys sound like professionals on the radio, so it sounds
like we plan?
Like you plan, yeah.
Oh, well, that's good. We're fooling them, Helena. We just trick them.
That's good. That's really good. I'm like stunned right now. We sound like professionals. That's good. No, that's a good thing because we're not really.
Do you board or keep your horse at home?
I board.
Yeah. How's that going for you?
Oh, it's great. No problems. It is a little bit difficult sometimes to find a half-decent place to board. And definitely living in Canada, you have to have an indoor riding arena. I'm not riding outside in this.
Yeah. Right. We were just talking before we started to record. It's 5 degrees Fahrenheit up there? Yeah. Okay.
Pretty cold right now.
So do you have snow on the ground?
A little bit, not too much.
Yeah, we don't have too much either. I mean, I'm in New England, so New England, Canada, same thing. It's cold.
Very similar.
Let's put it this way: it's not Florida, so we need indoor riding arenas. But do you like to ride in the cold? Because I don't mind riding in the snow and the sun, but I don't like to ride in like icky weather. When it's dark and windy.
Yeah, when it gets too cold and too windy, I definitely stay home.
Yeah. Okay.
But I do try to ride as much as I can, 5 times a week usually.
Oh, that's good.
Now, do you get do they force you to get involved in all the girl drama that goes on at a boarding barn?
I do avoid it. I do avoid it as much as I can. Yeah. But I am definitely being a male.
Like, what would be girl drama, Glenn?
Oh God! Give me a break. Anybody that's boarded where there's more than 2 women have found the girl drama at a boarding barn.
And trust me, as a guy, you hear many female conversations you wish you didn't hear.
I know, girls are bitches, aren't they? They just are. Sorry. It's true. They're mean.
It is true. And for some reason, when they get to the barn, it's like open season,
It really is. And the sad thing is...
the shows are even worse.
Oh,
Oh, yes. Yes. It's
we are.
true.
We're mean. We're a mean
Lots
bunch.
of drama. Yeah, it's interesting going to a show being a guy. I mean, I used to event when I was younger, but now I'm more into dressage. And you go to a dressage show, and there'll be 300 or 400 women and like 3 guys.
Yeah, you and Philip.
Which is kind of nice, being different.
It's different. Yeah, it's kind of nice
really
because I mean, it's kind of nice in a way. It's nice to. It's easy to get help
Yeah.
Oh,
because
that's
you're
true.
a rarity. All the women are. Oh, it's a guy.
Yeah.
And you
Can I
stand
help you?
out.
Yeah, you definitely
Yeah.
Well,
stand out.
that's kind of more important in the hunter and the equitation rings, but
Yeah.
you still you can, and you guys do look good up there.
Well, too, you got a guy who's asking for help. It's like, well, let's help the poor guy
Yeah,
because all
especially in-
women think the guys that are into horses are the poor guy. So,
Or how about let's help the hot guy?
well, that's true too.
I wish.
Either way, yeah.
I definitely
Either way
have the
works.
looks for radio. Let's just say.
Makes 3
Me
of us.
too, Ken. Yeah. Alina's the only one here that could get away with audio or video. She's the only
Yeah.
one.
No, only with that fuzzy Hollywood filter on it.
Well, Ken, now what do you do for a living?
I'm an office manager, and I've been riding for ever since I was 12 or 13. My parents sent me to summer camp, and they had a riding program there, and I fell in love with it and never looked back. And then when I was a little bit older, in my later teens, I was a working student up in Ottawa. I was eventing, and I got my coaching certificate and would ride about 6 horses a day and give lessons to beginners.
Were you one of the very few eventers apparently that liked dressage then, huh?
Well, let's just say, when you get a little bit,
That answer's
Well,
no.
He's trying,
He's
Glenn.
trying to be
No,
diplomatic here.
You
It
can't-
sucked.
you can't beat the adrenaline rush of cross country. You just can't beat it. But when you get a little bit closer to middle age, the ground gets harder.
Yeah. Yeah, and it comes up quicker too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Ask Alina.
Yeah. Okay, so I just found your profile picture. I'm drooling over your horse
You
right
can't
now.
have.
Here.
He is a hunter prospect, isn't he? Yeah, hunt
gorgeous.
prospect. Yeah. Yeah.
He is gorgeous. He looks comfortable. He looks really comfortable to ride. Does he have nice floaty soft
Yeah,
gaits?
he's really big gait. Yep. Yeah, I was a little bit because I never had a crossbreed before. I always had warm bloods and thoroughbreds before, and when I rode him, first time I rode him, I was like, whoa. Yeah, very, very floaty gait, very smooth. He's
Now,
fantastic.
does he have more of the knee action of the Clyde, or does he move a little bit more freely through the shoulder? Because like my guy's got more knee action, but I find that makes a softer ride.
Mm-hmm. He's got a little bit of both. He does have the shoulder and the knee action, so it's a very smooth sitting trot. A lot smoother than my Dutch warm blood, that's for sure.
Yeah. Those guys are that's like riding a springboard.
Yeah, it just goes on forever.
Well, now, did you? Can I ask? Are you married?
Single.
Single? Okay.
Yep.
Pay attention, auditors. Pay attention.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, we got a single guy. in
There's a
Canada
secondary
that-
service here at HRN.
and he has a nice horse. What else can we say? He likes long walks on the beach.
No, God, no. Let's see here. This is how his equestrian profile ad would read.
Okay.
He
All right.
rides 5 times a day. Has a horse you will lust after.
A week, yeah, not a day.
Sorry.
I only
yeah,
have
yeah.
one horse, so.
Okay, sorry. I'm getting a little excited here, as you can tell. That doesn't happen for me often. Okay, so rides 5 times a week, has a horse you will lust after, has a full-time job,
Yeah, a job. Yeah, that's good.
has a great sense of humor because he listens to the Stable Scoop show,
Yeah.
right?
And
Is
good taste. He has
dedicated.
good taste. Yeah.
Right,
yeah.
is dedicated and organized because he shows. What else?
else
Lives
can
in
we say,
Canada,
Ken? Yeah,
which is
what else?
awesome.
Yeah, what else can we say? What can we add to this, Ken?
That pretty much sums it up, I think.
Yeah. Are you a slob or are you neat?
I tried. Well, I have to admit,
Okay,
I am
he's a
bit of
slob.
yeah. You just have to look at my tack that almost never gets cleaned.
Yeah, well, that'd make you a good
Aw,
hunt
That's okay. Mine doesn't get
prospector.
cleaned either.
You'll be in the hunt field in no time. They don't clean their tack either. Sorry,
Glenn, It's so true. Glenn.
I saw you guys going out. Half that tack hadn't been cleaned in 10 years. Just saying.
Well, that wasn't.
Not
that
you and Jennifer, but some of the members didn't spend a whole
I
lot
do
of
not
time
clean my
cleaning
tack enough. I will admit to that. I do not clean my tack enough.
Hey, Ken, you said you liked Helena was doing the fox hunting episodes and segments. You said you liked that.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. Yeah, because I had fox hunted a few years before, like when I was eventing. So I've been curious to get back into it. And I know there's probably about 5 or 6 local hunts around here. So I'm just trying to get brave enough to get back into it.
Well, that's fun. And did that sort of motivate you to want to do it here in these segments? Yeah,
definitely. Yep.
Great.
Yeah, there's a little bravery to be had when you get back into hunting. Although, once you do it, you're like, yahoo! It really wasn't that scary. It's more the anticipation of what's to come than the actual. Once you're there, you just grab a nice big chunk of mane and you squish your heels down. You're good to go. But anticipating it is like even just now talking about it, my eyes are all squinty and my shoulders are all hunched up with excitement.
Hey, guys, I didn't tell anybody this. Jennifer doesn't even know yet, but my landlord is the retired 2-star general, and he, has done hundreds and hundreds of parachute jumps, and he's getting back into it now. And he's trying to convince me to go up for my first jump. It would be a tandem jump with an instructor, but I'm actually considering doing it here soon.
Wow.
So
that's fantastic.
Yeah, so that'll be fun. And he's going to do he's going to jump with us and do a GoPro video of my face the whole way down.
And
so you'll get this.
And you won't fox hunt, but you'll jump out of a plane.
It's on my bucket list of something that I don't necessarily want to do it myself.
All I have to say, Glenn, is depends.
Now there's some helpful advice.
Thank you, Ken. I didn't
problem.
think about that, but I will definitely keep that in mind. I might need it. Well, it's good to meet you, Ken. Thank you so much for listening. We really appreciate you being a listener and an auditor as well.
Thank you very much.
Thanks,
Love
Ken.
the shows.
Take care.
Cheers.
Thank you, Ken. Bye.
Well, now our next guest we want to welcome back to the show is Erin Gilmore. She's been with us before. She's the editor-in-chief of Horse and Style magazine, and she is down in what I would say is warm Wellington, but it's a little chilly even here in Florida today. But she's down in Wellington where everything is beautiful, and she's going to give us the Wellington report of what's going on with all the different riders that have descended on the south of Florida. So, hi, Erin.
Hi, how's it going?
Good. Now, the other thing that's descended, not only dressage and jumpers, but the hot polo players are there right now, too. So,
they are. Everybody's here. Descended is actually a really good word for Wellington.
Descended? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. Because they all come in by truck and trailer and plane from every avenue.
Yeah, that's right. And myself included, I just got back to Wellington a few days ago, and it seems like everything is already up and running. That's what everyone's been saying early on. It seems like everyone's already here. It's only week 1. It's so busy. I think that there were about 1,600 horses entered for competition yesterday, which was the first day of competition.
1,600?
Wow.
Yeah, that's on day 1. And when I attended the opening press conference on Tuesday, they said that there's more prize money this year, $8.2 million over 12 weeks, and
this is just jumpers, right? Just hunter jumpers?
Hunter jumpers. And all we're talking about is hunter jumpers. That's just them.
Wow.
Yeah. They've got another set of numbers for their dressage circuit. Their dressage circuit, I believe now it's up to 8 or 10 weeks. And it's only the 3rd year of it. It's really grown. And it is fun to go over there and watch the dressage. Yeah. They've done a pretty good job. And I think overall, just Wellington itself has grown. When I came in November for a few days, I noticed new tack stores, new barns as always, more people. It just seems like you don't just need one tack store in Wellington anymore or one show circuit. You need 3 or 4, or the demand is really there. So it's pretty incredible, actually.
Now, it's also a big party, right?
They say that, although I spend most of my time with my computer, so I'll keep you posted on that.
So when you're not
at your big party, what's that?
what actually does get you away from your computer? So you're obviously working very hard. There's a lot that's going on. There's a lot to capture while you're down there. Some serious stuff and some fun stuff. But when you do get a chance to step away from your computer, where do you go and what do you do?
I go to polo on Sundays. For me, it's a day off. I don't work per se at polo. I have fun and go with friends, and the weather's always beautiful. It's a chance to dress up, follow all the stereotypes of polo. You stomp the divots, you drink the champagne, you watch the horses. It's great. It's a really fun, relaxing way to spend a Sunday.
You missed the hot guys part.
Oh, yeah, hot guys. Sorry, I forgot all about that. I'm just like, horses.
Oh, and they're being ridden by hot guys.
Player, from South America to this country and beyond. Yes, Glenn, they are all here, all of them.
Now, are there more women getting into polo than before?
There's a sizable amount of women who play polo and a couple that play high gold. They play the advanced level. I think polo as a whole is growing. It's actually a pretty accessible sport at the lower levels. I played in college, and it was inexpensive, and it was so fun, and everyone was down to earth. So at the entry levels, definitely there's a lot of women playing. Upper levels, it takes a really talented woman to get in there and play because it's a game that's fast-paced. You need to have strength, and you need to have that hand-eye coordination, too.
Yeah, that's why my wife never played polo. It's the whole hand-eye coordination thing,
Well, everyone's got to try it. I firmly believe that. I mean, I'm left-handed, and you can only swing the mallet with your right hand, and everyone thought that would be a challenge. But, it was fun once I got used to it. So.
And Helena, you'd taken a polo lesson or two.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. And in fact, with Jennifer.
Yeah.
And it was great. It was exciting. The mallet was exceptionally heavy for my little weak arms, but it was fun.
It gets stronger as time goes on.
Yeah. It was fun. I did kind of get this flash forward to some very dangerous riding on playing on my part, put me on a horse with a purpose and a mallet. Like nothing good's going to come out of that. So I decided that spectating was much more fun. And I do that. We go up to Newport Polo pretty much every Saturday up here. And of course, we've spent plenty of time at Myopia Polo. And it is fun. It's very relaxing. It's a chance, like you said, to get dressed up, to be around other horse people. And if you know a little bit about the sport, you can actually enjoy spectating. Like you get into the...
Yeah, and down here they have the U.S. Open of Polo every year, and it's the biggest polo tournament in the country. And it is really the best of the sport. And IPC, the International Polo Club, it's the best spectating for polo you can get in this country. So it's definitely something to do on the weekends. The Saturday night before, I'm usually working.
Now, you were talking about the jumpers, and there's been over the last couple of years, there's been a lot more international riders coming in. Matter of fact, some of the British riders came in and took all the prize money and went home last year.
Pretty much.
Yeah, so that's kind of new though that a lot of them are starting to come over here for the winter. They didn't do that before.
Well, wouldn't you come over here if you had the choice from staying in Europe where it's cold and snowy, or Florida?
That's true.
And they all say that's a big motivating factor for them. But also for the jumpers, they've added 48 FEI world ranking classes during West, so they can come and work on their world ranking and earn points, and it's really productive for them as riders too.
Interesting. And I know the same is happening on the dressage side of things too.
I think it is. And I think the dressage is seeing more international riders than ever coming over, and the word is starting to spread about dressage. It's probably newer for dressage riders to come here than it is for the international show jumpers. But it all contributes to that feeling of everyone is here, and there's so many people, and look at that rider, and look at this one behind me at the grocery store, and that's happened to me.
So if you have riders come down, they all have an average of probably what, if you averaged it out, would they have 3-4 horses? And if you probably have people with 1 horse or 2 horses and people with 30. So, but where do they stay? What do they do? How's that all work when you're coming in for, 3 months or 6 to 8 weeks?
They stay in their horse mansions that are surrounding the show. And it seems like there are more and more horse mansions built every single day when I drive down the street. I mean, the barns are pretty incredible. They look like houses. I'm sure you've heard that before. And they're stabled off ground if you're lucky, on ground if you're, I won't say not lucky, but I'll say if you're the standard rider. They built more stabling on the grounds this year, but that's one of the things they're having to deal with over there is that it just gets more crowded every year, and there's more horses and more of everything each year. So it's interesting, and it's creating an overflow where people are going out a little farther to board their horses or buy farms. And also there's other show circuits that are springing up around Wellington, like the Turf Series, which was started by the rider known as Garson. She started it, I think, 3 or 4 years ago. But this year, it's really big. There's a Grand Prix every single week. It moves around to different grass fields in Wellington, and it accommodates just more riders that want to film more classes and jump more in different venues. So I like seeing that change. I think it's really cool.
Well, and I do know, too, that you guys have a lot of bridle paths there in Wellington, so for the people who are stabled off, they can just ride over most of them to the grounds.
Yeah, if you're close enough, and that's why, those farms that are within riding distance really go for top dollar, because everyone wants those ones rather than having to trailer in and rent stalls.
Well, Aaron, I got to compliment you, too, on something else. You sent us a copy of Horse and Style magazine, and my wife is not easily impressed by magazines because she's been reading them for 40 years, And she read this one cover to cover and said that it's her new favorite magazine now. And I'm not just saying that because you're on. She really did love it.
Well, good. That really puts a smile on my face and smile on the faces of my whole team, because we worked really hard to really make it a standout magazine and fun to read, nice to look at. Everyone says they like the paper all the time. So thank you. We get more readers every single week and every month. So we're really thrilled with how it's going.
Yeah, you did I keep wanting to say episode for magazines, but, I'm in audio, right? But you did a issue, the most intriguing equestrians for 2014. Can you tell us who was on that? Who were some of them?
Right. Yeah, every year. Well, this is the second year we've done it. We get together and we think about not just riders, but equestrians in the hunter jumper industry who are interesting or had a particularly good year, or just have a really great story, and we profile them. This year, our cover subject for the most intriguing equestrian is a young Irish show jumper, Bertram Allen. He's only 19, and he's a complete prodigy as far as the show jumping world goes. He just entered the top 15 ranked riders in the world. So he rode his first round at the World Equestrian Games as a rookie. You'd expect anybody to be nervous doing that, but he absolutely rode in with no holds barred and ended up winning the first round of the World Equestrian Games. And that's kind of just the way he is. But he's also a really laid-back guy and a good rider and a good person. So we put him on the cover.
Well, I got to tell you, if people want to find out who the rest were, they can find the magazine. Where can they order it? How can they get it?
They can subscribe online at horseandstylemag.com, and they can pick it up at the tack stores that are listed on our website as well, tack stores around the country. If they want to see it in a tack store near them, they can request that it be carried there. Or if they're at the shows, they can keep an eye out for it there.
Well, I recommend it. I think if a lot of people have gotten turned off to magazines recently, but this is a beautiful magazine. It's well written. It's easy to understand. It will not be over your head either. So,
No.
So I read it and actually understood it. So that's something. Horse husband approved.
We make it horse husband approved.
Well, Aaron, we're going to be coming down the second weekend in February. So I'll let you know.
Are
and
you?
Maybe we can get together.
Oh, for sure. We'll have to.
All right. Thanks, Aaron.
Thanks, Aaron.
Okay, thanks. Nice
Bye.
to talk to you.
Take care.
Bye.
Well, next up, we are going to do our tack and habit segment this week, sponsored by Sparkle and Boom.
Sparkle and Boom is a new media marketing company. Our mission is to help small businesses add some sparkle to their marketing in order to get some boom in their bottom line. Our creativity, combined with an extensive background in the equestrian industry, makes us perfectly suited to help your business capture the potential of social media and the ever-changing World Wide Web. Visit us online at www.sparkleandboom.com.
Well, Helena has the product for this week. Now, is this something you have tried, or is it just something that you like, or what's the story?
This is something I have in my feet this very minute.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes.
Boots. How could I guess that Helena's going to talk about boots, her favorite topic in the whole world?
Yes. Okay, so this week's Tack and Habit segment features the Ariat Brassard Winter Paddock Boot. Now, if you are a longtime listener of Stable Scoop, you'll remember or you'll note that the last couple of times I've reviewed Ariat footwear, I've not had great things to say. I do love their breeches. Love their breeches. Their Pro Circuits, which change names. It's not Pro Circuit every year, but it's their premium breech. However, I've not had good luck with their footwear, and I've had a lot of their footwear. I've had tall boots, I've had paddock boots, I've had half chaps, I've had pretty much everything that Ariat makes. So last year, maybe it was a year and a half ago now, I purchased a pair of winter paddock boots for Grace, who's just about my size now. She's 12 years old, and we share just about the same foot size. So I've been wearing her paddock boots because she's not really taking lessons or riding too much right now. So I put her boots on, and I have to say that they have held up to the wear and tear that I put on boots very well. Very, very well. And they keep my feet warm. And they have kept my feet warm in the last 2 days where the temperatures have been down to the single digits and even into the sub-zero temperatures with the wind chill. I've been out there working in my barn, and I'm not running around. I'm not lifting weights or doing jumping jacks or anything, but I'm doing some light barn work, and my feet aren't even thinking about being cold. Which,
I know they have like Thinsulate, a lot of Thinsulate in them. It's like 200 grams of Thinsulate, so that really helps with the warmth. You did say that your boot got stuck. You thought you weren't going to be able to move today. What was that about?
I am such a dunce sometimes, honest to God. So I go outside, and now I'm prepared for the cold temperatures, and it was 1.8 degrees in my barn this morning. It was 1.8. And the wind had stopped. It was really, 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 really windy last night. So by 6 o'clock this morning, the wind had died down. It was 1.8 degrees. And I took water buckets from the house, and I carried them the 100 feet over to the barn, and I filled up their water tank with it. No problem. And they were like, "Oh, yee, thanks, Mom, warm water." But a little bit splashes. And so I stepped in the wet splash. And then I stepped out onto, I have a slate walkway right outside the barn. So there was moisture on the bottom of my boots. And when I stepped onto the slate, my feet stuck to the ground. It froze instantly.
just like the kid with the tongue on the pole.
Yeah. Like hard. It didn't just it wasn't like sticky, grippy. It was like, you're stuck. And I was like, your mind just doesn't, my mind doesn't go to any of the logical places. My mind goes, holy crap, I'm stuck. What do I do next? Like, who gets stuck? So you're like, what do I do next? So I'm like, I'll just unzip my boots and walk out in my socks. I'm like actually standing there. I don't care if it was 3 seconds or 15 seconds, but I was actually trying to figure out what to do because my feet were stuck to the ground. Needless to say, I did nothing because they unstuck and from my body heat, but it was kind of funny. A dunce, like I said.
Okay, so these are the Ariat Broussard winter paddock boots. It looks like they have 200 grams of Thinsulate, moisture wicking. Do they really are they waterproof to keep your feet dry?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I've submerged them unintentionally, and they've been great.
And these are paddock, so they're paddock height. They're not tall boots. And can you ride in them?
You can ride in them. The footbed is not so thick and chunky that you can't comfortably get your foot in and out of a stirrup, which I love. You literally can go from the barn into the tack in these things. And the other thing is they do have a lot of Thinsulate in them. Over time, like any boot or anything that has Thinsulate in it, the Thinsulate will pack down. So it doesn't have as much loft or air in between. So it doesn't its warming capabilities diminish over time. And this is what I found particularly interesting about this boot is that the thin slit has already packed down because Grace wore them all last winter. And yet they're still warm for my foot, which is, kudos to Thin Slit and kudos to Ariat for designing this boot so well. And the other thing is, I've had Ariat paddock boots before, and it takes a while for them to break in and get really comfortable. The newer versions of their paddock boots they never got that comfortable for me. I don't like, some things you put on, especially leather goods, and you forget you have them on because they shape to your body so well. I forgot that I had these boots on. I don't know what they've done differently with the leather to treat it. The design, I have no idea what they did, but these feel like the old Ariat boots, the ones that you could wear forever, that will last forever, and they almost feel like they were made for your foot, no one else's foot.
They don't squeak, right?
They do not squeak.
Ugh, because just the problem I've had with my Ariat boots is the squeaking. Ugh.
And the zippers held up. Everybody has problems with Ariat zippers.
Yeah.
Nope, these zippers are fantastic. The seams are intact, which is another problem that I've had with Ariat boots. And they have a little spur rest on the back, which I find particularly helpful.
Ariat's going to be happy to find that we've actually liked the product.
Finally, they come in zip or lace. I have the zip. Who has time for laces?
Yeah, anyway.
I got time
and
for
they
that.
get all icky in the water and the cold and the mud anyway, right?
They take an extra 7 seconds. I can't do it.
Yeah. And their price is $139, so that's not bad.
Yeah, and they're on sale, give or take $10 here and there. So they're an investment, but a worthy one.
Very good. That's the Ariat Broussard Winter Paddock Boot. Congratulations for finding something positive to say about a company that has been under the gun here lately.
I keep trying. Hey, my saving grace is that I do love their breeches.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. The clothing's nice. They have nice clothing. All right, very good. Thank you, Helena, for that. We appreciate it. And thank you to Sparkle and Boom for their sponsorship of the Tack and Habit segment that we do here every week. But we run out of time. The show is ending, so we want to remind you to get that app that we talked about with Ken earlier in the show. It's a free app from the Horse Radio Network. Just search for Horse Radio Network in the iOS or Android App Store on your phones or your tablets, and you can download it. It makes the shows very simple and easy to listen to. All 8 of them are listed on there. And also, we want to remind you to stop by stablescoop.com, where you can find all the links and photos and everything to our shows. You can find Helena at
sparkleandboom.com.
And we love your feedback. You can email Helena at horseradionetwork.com or Glenn at horseradionetwork.com. If you have a company and would like to think about sponsoring our show, we would appreciate that too. Our sponsors tend to do very well, so we hope that you get a hold of us. Drop me a note at Glenn at horseradionetwork.com or Helena at horseradionetwork.com. That's it for this week.
Woo! That's plenty. But we will be back next week with more. Until then, happy scooping.